Hi, I'm Simon from Astro and welcome to our night sky guide for the month of June 2026. This month sees the day of Summer Solstice, the longest day of the year. And even though the nights are at their longest and brightest, it's still a great time to enjoy the night sky. The summer Milky Way is gracing our skies. There's some great chances to observe the planet Mercury. We're also in the middle of the noctilucent cloud season, and there's some amazing lunar and planetary conjunctions to look forward to, including a special planetary alignment. And so as you can see, there's plenty to look forward to throughout the month of June. And so without further ado, let's dive in.
Sunrise and sunset times throughout June will be as follows. On the 1st, the sun will rise at 4:47 am and set at 9:27 pm. On the 11th, the sun will rise at 4:41 am and set at 9:37 pm. On the 21st, the sun will rise at 4:40 am and set at 9:42 pm, and on the 30th, the sun will rise at 4:44 am and set at 9:41 pm. Moon phases now. The moon reached its full phase on the 31st of May and will start the month of June as a waning gibbous. Last quarter will be on the 8th, new moon will be on the 15th, first quarter will be on the 21st, and full moon will be on the 30th. As usual, the moon will be paying some close visits to other celestial objects this month, and these meetings will be discussed in more detail in our highlights section. For all the aurora chasers, even though most people consider the month of June as a write-off for the aurora due to the short and bright nights, as last year's incredible June display showed, it's still worth heading out on nights when the space weather stats are looking promising. Let's all keep our fingers crossed for more great displays, and if you would like to be kept in the loop with regular updates and alerts for possible aurora displays, please follow our Facebook page. For Milky Way fanatics, although June is the hardest month to capture photos of the Milky Way core due to the bright skies, June is when the Milky Way core reaches its highest in the sky, and so if you want to have a go, the glow of the Milky Way core can be photographed towards the south in the middle of the night. Although the bright skies of June can be quite frustrating for many astronomers and aurora chasers, the brightest months of the year make up for this with the chance to view the amazing phenomena known as noctilucent clouds, and the months of June and July are usually when we are most likely to see them. These magical ethereal shimmering clouds reach the highest altitude of all clouds and are created by ice crystals in the upper atmosphere that reflect sunlight. Last year we had several incredible NLC displays, and so let's keep our fingers crossed that we have another good NLC season this year. Onto general nighttime sights now. Looking towards the north throughout June, the iconic asterism of the Plough and the constellation Ursa Major are now visible towards the northwest, and Draco the Dragon is now high in the sky near the zenith in the middle of the night, with Ursa Minor just below. To the east, the asterism known as the Summer Triangle, which contains the brightest stars of the constellation of Lyra, Cygnus and Aquila, is now very prominent. Just below the Summer Triangle, the small constellation of Delphinus and Aquarius can be seen just ahead of Pegasus, which is beginning to rise above the northeastern horizon. Andromeda, Perseus and Auriga can be seen peaking above the northern horizon, with Cassiopeia, Camelopardalis and Cepheus just above, and towards the west, the zodiacal constellations of Gemini and Cancer can be seen dipping below the horizon. Looking south, Bootes, Corona Borealis and Hercules are very prominent high in the sky near the meridian in the middle of the night. To the west, the zodiacal constellations of Leo and Virgo are still easy to observe, with Libra and the upper half of Scorpius following close behind to the south. Just above Libra and Scorpius, Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, and the serpent serpens can be seen rising higher in the sky, and just below and left of Ophiuchus, the constellation of Sagittarius, along with the Milky Way core, can be seen rising above the southeastern horizon. General bright planet viewing now. Early June offers some great opportunities to observe Mercury, as the speedy and often elusive planet reaches a fairly favourable greatest eastern elongation on the 15th. Despite reaching greatest elongation on the 15th, observing Mercury may actually be easier several days before due to the slightly steeper evening ecliptic, giving planet Mercury a more favourable placement higher in the sky. Towards the end of the month, however, Mercury will disappear from view. Mercury starts June in Taurus and ends the month in Gemini. The super bright planet Venus remains fairly easy to spot throughout June. However, even though Venus is continuing to move further away from the Sun, Due to the angle of the evening ecliptic becoming shallower, Venus will become slightly harder to spot as the month progresses, with Venus setting 2 hours 50 minutes after the Sun on the 1st and setting 2 hours 7 minutes after the Sun on the 30th. Venus starts June in Gemini before wandering across Cancer to finish the month in Leo. The red planet Mars has been hidden in the glare of the Sun for a long time now, but the month of June sees the long-awaited return of the red planet in our morning skies. Mars still remains poorly placed for observation throughout June, but at the end of the month, things begin to slightly improve for Mars, which can be observed shining low near to the horizon just before sunrise. Mars starts June in Aries and ends the month in Taurus. The observing window for gas giant Jupiter continues to slowly but steadily close throughout June, with Jupiter appearing closer and closer to the horizon as the month progresses and pretty much lost from sight at the end of June. Make sure to catch the king of the planets before he disappears from view for several months. Jupiter starts June in Gemini and ends the month in Cancer. In contrast to Jupiter, the amazing ring planet Saturn is steadily moving further away from the Sun, and by the end of the month will be fairly easy to spot for early birds and all-night stargazers, with Saturn rising an hour and 42 minutes before the Sun on the 1st and rising just over 3.5 hours before the Sun on the 30th. Saturn starts the month in Cetus and ends June in Pisces. And now for the second edition of our follower favourites. We had such a great time looking through your photos last month that we just knew that we would be sharing more in this month's night sky guide. You never cease to amaze us with your beautiful photographs, so make sure to keep on sending them in to us on our socials, and maybe you might see your photo on next month's night sky guide. Up first, we have some marvellous photos featuring the moon. Here's a cracking shot from Dawn Brooks, who has put the effects of depth of field to excellent use here. Next up is Chris Burnham with this awesome shot of May's conjunction between the waxing crescent moon and Venus. Up next we have some amazing aurora photos. Here's one from Simon Luckman, who captured this beautiful photo of the May 24th aurora display. Here's one from Kenny McFarlane with this incredible picture from Loch Lomond. We love the reflections in this one. Next up we have some fantastic Milky Way shots. Here's an amazing shot of the Milky Way core captured from the Cranbourne Chase National Park by Lisa Haggerty. Next up we have this superb shot of a causeway leading to the Cygnus region of the Milky Way captured by Lee Reed. Some great compositional technique here. Here's another fantastic image from Robert Elliott, who captured the Cygnus region of the Milky Way along with some mountains and cascading water from Glencoe. More great technique on show here. And finally, we have a little bit of deep space brought to us by Simon Temlett, who has put a lot of work into capturing this incredible image of the hydrogen region known as the Lion Nebula. And so there you go, there's a handful of our favourite Astro images that were sent in to us over the last month. Which one was your favourite? Let us know in the comments section below. Okay, let's begin looking at our highlights for the month of June. There's a great selection of celestial events this month, and our first highlights for the month will be some special meetings between planets and the moon. On the evening of the 9th, the super bright planet Venus will appear close by to the amazing gas giant planet Jupiter. Look towards the northwest after sunset to observe this pairing. On the morning of the 10th, the 32% illuminated waning crescent moon will appear close by to the amazing ring planet Saturn. Look towards the eastern horizon in the early morning hours before sunrise to observe this pairing. On the morning of the 13th, the thin 6% illuminated waning crescent moon will appear close by to the bright planet Mars. This will be a tough pairing to observe, appearing low to the horizon, and a pair of binoculars or a telescope will help. If you want to have a go, look towards the northeastern horizon in the early morning just before sunrise. On the evening of the 15th, the speedy and often elusive planet Mercury reaches a point in relation to the Sun and Earth known as greatest eastern elongation and will appear at its furthest distance from the Sun in our evening skies. Times around greatest elongations are usually when the inferior planets are easier to observe. However, if you want to observe Mercury, you may want to start looking for Mercury a few days earlier, such as on the 9th or 10th, when Mercury will appear brighter and higher in the sky. Look towards the western horizon in the post-sunset twilight for a chance to observe Mercury. On the 15th of June, the moon will reach its new phase, leaving the skies free from natural light pollution. This means the nights on and around the 15th will be ideal for viewing faint objects in the night sky and or taking photographs of the night sky. On the evening of the 16th, the thin 4% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear close by to the speedy and elusive planet Mercury. The bright planets Jupiter and Venus will also appear not too far away, with all three planets forming an amazing planetary alignment. This event will be an excellent opportunity to find the often elusive planet Mercury by using the moon as a guide. Look to the northwestern horizon following sunset to observe this special gathering. The next evening, on the 17th, the 10% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear at the opposite end of the triple planet alignment and just below the super bright planet Venus. This special event will be a great way to say goodbye to the gas giant Jupiter before it disappears from view for a while. Once again, look to the northwestern horizon following sunset to observe this special gathering. On the evening of the 19th, the 29% illuminated waxing crescent moon will appear close by to Regulus, the brightest star of the constellation Leo. Look to the west from sunset to observe this pairing. The day of the 21st will host the Summer Solstice. On this day, those of us in the northern hemisphere will experience the longest day and the shortest night of the year. Summer solstice also marks the start of astronomical summer. For many people, summer is a time of great happiness due to the warmth, growth, new life and abundance that is prevalent at this time of year. For many others, the summer solstice has special cultural and astrological significance, and the solstice is a time to celebrate. For many astronomers, for whom the short, bright nights can be a source of frustration, they can take solace that from this day onwards, the nights will slowly become longer. Whatever summer means to you, we hope you have a good one, and we wish you all a happy summer solstice. On the night of the 23rd, the 69% illuminated waxing gibbous moon will appear close by to Spica, the brightest star of the constellation Virgo. Look to the west from darkness to observe this meeting. On the night of the 27th, the 96% illuminated waxing gibbous moon will appear close by to Antares, the brightest star of the constellation Scorpius. Look to the south from darkness for a chance to spot this pairing. On the morning of the 29th, the red planet Mars will appear close by to the Pleiades star cluster, which is also known as the Seven Sisters. A pair of binoculars or a telescope will help observe Mars and the Pleiades, which will both appear low on the horizon in the early morning before sunrise. And our final highlight for the month of June 2026 will take place on the 30th. The day of the 30th hosts the full moon of June, which is known to some as the strawberry moon. The exact moment the moon will be at its most illuminated will be at around 4 AM, when the moon will be below the horizon. This means that when the moon is visible, it will actually appear most full during the night of the 29th into the early morning of the 30th. Don't worry if you don't get to see the moon on the 29th or 30th, the moon will still appear full on adjacent nights too.
So that wraps up another month, and as you can see, there's plenty to look forward to throughout the month of June. Just before we do finish up, we'd like to let you know about a special event that we'll be holding on June the 20th at the Scarborough Market Hall. We'll be taking our brand new 6-metre planetarium dome down to the Market Hall and showing a variety of space-themed films. There's going to be family-friendly films and also some great space documentaries too, so it'd be great to see you guys down there if you can make it. If you want to find out more and book your tickets for the event, make sure to press the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please make sure to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a comment in the comment section below, and feel free to follow us on our socials on Facebook and Instagram too. And as always, if you head out to enjoy the night sky at any point in the near future, we wish you good luck and clear skies.